My mics sound nice. Check one. My mics sound nice.
Check two. Are you ready?
We're gonna play that song for you young people that don't know this old school song. It's a classic.
Two black guys with good credit.
Welcome to Two Black Guys with Good Credit. My name is Shaun Linda. I am the host of Two Black Guys with Good Credit, and back by popular demand is my new best friend, Russell Bramwell.
My man.
I thought the show went great the last episode,
Thank
so I
you.
said, you know what? Let me bring you back in the building because I think there's a topic that I think you excel in, and I think you're going to add a lot of value. So as it is, I want to talk to you about the art of a deal.
Okay.
So first of all, what do you think what is your definition of what a great deal is?
Something that has tremendous value. So in my real estate world, when I can find a property that is completely dilapidated and you can make a huge spread on it. So I think that there, you can find big opportunities.
Well, what do you mean by spread? You got to explain.
Oh, sorry. Well, you can make a lot of money. Sometimes you can make a decent amount of cash on. Right? So between what you buy it for, what you could sell it for, the difference of what you could sell it for would be the spread.
But do you know going ahead it's a deal, or you just find out at the end, I just got into a great deal? Like, is a deal person, they know at the beginning this is going to be a great deal, or they know towards the end?
Sometimes with the way that I do business, very few times you know in the beginning. I think that you find out while you're in the process of it. So it's just a lot of times you're just going through multiple deals to figure out which one's going to make sense and how much sense. If it works, then you move forward with it.
And let's keep it 100. Like, do you believe that every deal there's always going to be winners, or there definitely, in order for you, there has to be a winner and a loser in a deal?
There's always a winner and a loser.
So not everybody's going to outright win on both ends.
No, there's always going to be a winner and a loser. I mean, you can try to do something where it's going to be amicable, where there's enough pain between.
But you go in there like Mr. Nice Guy, like the person's gonna win. But in your mind, when you're negotiating, most times you're trying to be the winner, and you're not really.
I mean, as a businessman, that's what we all do, right?
So
we all try to go in there to make sure that we have the most upside as possible, right?
But the person that you're dealing with, you don't really give a thing about them.
No, you do. You do. You have to care about. I don't think you have to, but I try to make sure that it makes sense. But
what do you mean makes sense? You're trying to get them. You try to get at the lowest price. So what are you talking about? Makes sense? So where is this making sense?
It has to make sense because you want them to.
If they have to go to the shelter after you make your money, you don't care. You got shelters.
No, I do care. You have to be able to, because at the end of the day, when someone's not making any money, then the deal could fall apart. So there has to be skin in the game for all people, right? So you have to make sure that the numbers comfortable enough that it motivates them, right? After that, you're trying to figure out that even though you have, of course you want to make as much as possible, but then there's going to be foreseen situations that happen. So you have to try to cushion in for those.
So what are the misconceptions? Because I know when I'm sitting across the table with a deal, in my head, I'm like, oh, you're trying to nice me up. You know what I mean? The misconception I think for me is the person across the table that you're dealing with is not your friend. He's not your friend.
No, they're not.
And I mean, there may be people that you've done multiple deals with, and you've built, quote unquote, a relationship, but it's not my homeboy.
No, that's your friend. It's not. I mean, it's just those tactics. That's what happens when you're negotiating, because everybody wants to kind of get on that friendlier side. Because when you're not thinking of the business, you're not so sharp. You're going to be a little more relaxed. That's why people go to drinks for sometimes when they're doing business.
To get them relaxed.
To get them relaxed, to make them feel more comfortable. When they feel more comfortable, you get to learn the person more. You can feel how you can.
So you can
kind of
attack.
Nudge them. Yeah, you can nudge them a little bit to get it done.
I agree, and all that is tactic. And I think when I'm sitting across the table as a real deal maker, everything they do is deliberate.
100%.
And you have to understand
100%.
that. And I see so many people trying to friend people up and deal making. No, especially in the society we live in. This is a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
Who eats the most food wins.
Yes.
And my belly big, yours too.
Yes.
What kind of research do you do in preparation when you're entering a deal?
Well, you want to find out about the person themselves, right? So depending on, if we'll just keep it for simpler purposes, real estate, right? So you want to find out what the person's going through. If there's, why they're in foreclosure, why they want to sell the house.
Let's not all keep it real estate model. You do other things in the real estate. Let's talk about even the shelter. When you make deals in the shelter, you negotiate with the city.
It's understanding personality, right? It's understanding how people move. It's understanding that people like to feel important, right? I never go in there with my ego. I go in there, we're trying to understand everybody and what their, what makes them feel happy, makes them feel important, and move from that point.
Yeah, it's true. When I go into a deal, I'm sitting across from a deal, I'm doing like a psychological analysis real quick.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at body movements, I'm looking at confidence,
Yeah.
I'm looking how they respond, I'm looking how well they know their business,
Yeah.
and whatever
Yeah.
weakness I find, I'm
Yeah.
kind of playing on that. And
Yeah.
I'm always trying to find like a common ground, and I think you can look at anybody and find something common, like you can see like, oh, you're from California? Well, I'm an East Coast person. You're a West Coast person. That, there's a commonality,
Yes.
and once I find that commonality,
Yeah.
I hone in on that
Yeah.
to get them comfortable, so I can get the best deal possible.
Yes, yes. I think that's important. That definitely is important.
And so what about walking away? Like people don't know sometimes, like when it's time to walk away from a deal. Do you walk away from a lot of deals? I walk away from more than I actually take.
You have to. You have to walk away from deals. You have to understand what makes sense for you in your business model, right? So once you evaluate that, if it doesn't fit, you have to be rigid enough, or just you have to be rigid enough where you can say this just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
don't worry about it, because then that's when you start to lose, when you don't walk away.
I was all in a deal. I don't want to go back to real estate, but I'm trying to buy a property, and like I'm working with a guy who was referred to me from a friend. Very nice guy. We're supposed to hang out, do drinks, blah blah blah. And then when the deal came along, who's like the terms of the game, I called you, and that's another thing you need to have. You need to have somebody you can trust that knows the business, that you can just throw things at. And you were like, Shaun, that's a shit deal. And then I looked at it objectively. I'm like, you're damn right, this is a shit deal. And as much as I was embedded in this deal, wanted to do this deal, not just for him, just I had to call him like, this is a crappy deal. I can't do this. I can't put myself in a vulnerable position. I think in business, because I'll get the money, I'll close on the deal, but then I'm in this tight term.
Yeah.
And I always say when the lights are off, it's just you alone.
You alone.
It's you alone.
And then also just to carry on that, it's just even if it's a good deal, you still got to be willing to walk away from it.
Right.
Because when people see that you're emotionally invested in something, like, because you're not the only one that can sell, they're going to use that against you as well. Right. So they have to know that it doesn't matter how much you still want it, you have to be able to walk away. Even if it's a good deal, even if they know that you have value, but if the terms aren't working, if not going to where you need it to be, then you have to just say it just doesn't work.
You're absolutely right.
And sometimes they'll come back to every once in a blue.
Oh yeah, and, I always say, you can't look hungry. In any deal that I do, I'm never trying to look hungry, because you're right. Yeah. Those people do circle back with you if you don't look hungry or desperate. Yeah. But with that being said, I want to talk about like red flags. But let's go to commercial first. We need to make some money. Okay. This Two Black Guys with Good Credit. We got more on the art of a deal. Welcome back to Two Black Guys with Good Credit. Okay, Russell, I'm gonna humbly admit there's sometimes I'm going into a deal where the person has more leverage, and you know it, and they know it. They're kind of letting you know in a way, in a way that they have more leverage on you. How are you able to turn that table, and how are you able to negotiate around that, knowing that a person has more leverage on you?
What value you add to the deal, right? They have to understand that you have expertise that they might not have.
Give me an example.
You said I talk about real estate, right? So okay, we'll go to just business in general. I think that, like you say, when we have conversations, I know I can think I'm decisive with my decision making, right? So I'm able to evaluate a problem quickly. So when we're talking through something, I'll show them pressure points and pain points that they might have seen, and then understanding that if some people don't have that art with them to do that, so you might be able to get more money on a situation. You might sound better because you might like this person, or they give you something that I'm not offering you, but I know that I can make sure that you're going to get to the end because I can see the things that you just don't understand yet, right? So it could be from terms and conditions of contracts, attorneys, or whatever kind of issues they might have within my field. I'm pretty much an expert in a lot of those things. I think that helps.
I think it's like psychological warfare, because when I'm sitting across the table, and I feel that, and I like it. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about the last episode where you like being in that rough area, that fire. I like when there's like that psychological warfare going on, and I'm like, okay, you got the upper hand. Let me feel how I can maneuver my way into the point where I have the advantage, where I can bring value to the table, where you're thinking you need, like I'm always, even when I network, I'm always trying to position myself where you need me more than I need you. And once I can get you believing that, it makes it easier for me to close a deal, to close a deal. Like where the best situation is where somebody had leverage on you, and then you let it go, and then you see them calling on your phone. Like that's an instant high. Like, oh shoot, now you calling me now. You need me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that's the high. You know, that's the high.
That's the value that you're adding to the situation. I think that we all have to do that. You have to learn to add the value and what's your value. Everybody has a unique value.
Correct.
Right? So just understand what your value is and how you maneuver that within a deal.
Correct.
Because my value is different than your value.
Now here's the thing that people ignore, and I just think in general in life, like I don't know why they ignore them, and then it comes back to bite them. Because I always think, not to get over religious, I always think in anything, God sends us signals and we just choose to ignore them.
Right.
So in deals, you get so into it, and we've been through it and we've been hurt by it, where we see the red flags and we ignore them. So how do we get better at it? I'm going to take this for me and for you as well. How do we get better at it? Like when you see the red flags? Every deal has gone bad, it just didn't hit you out of the blue.
Yeah.
You've seen.
You look for them first. I think people get caught up in like excitement of what the deal looks like, of the possibilities. I look for the problems first. So once I figure out the problems, are the problems worse than too much for the deal? And then if there's too many red flags that I can't figure out, then it's just like, all right, I'm going to leave it alone. But I always look for the red flags first and foremost. And if it just sounds so good, then I don't see the red flags. I even caution myself even more because every deal has red flags.
Every deal has red flags. And that's the thing you'll get in this country, especially in America. Somebody's going to throw across this like, if you miss this deal, you're a fool. Yeah. And you pay attention to the red flag. And they come at you like, no, you got to do it. Why would you do it? You got to do it. Why would you do it? You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And you're just like, I got to do it. Yes. And then you ignore all the red flags, and all of a sudden you got as we say in Brooklyn, you know?
Yes. And as New Yorkers, we're already always looking for the scam. Like there's always a scam from the guys that's over there with the things back in the days. It's like police. I
got scammed because I didn't even know the person behind me that's shouting in my head is working for the guy. Yeah. You know? Exactly. And there's always that person. So to me, you know, I always look at who's presenting me with this deal. And, you know, I believe in a proven track record. Yeah, you know, like I mess with you because you have a proven track record. And I like a person that's able to communicate to me the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, it's important.
There's people that will just tell you the good, the good, the good, the good.
You gotta watch out for them.
You gotta watch out. If you're gonna tell me like, man, I had a rough day, this deal didn't happen, I got screwed by that, and you lead to your story why you think this one is good, I respect that. Yeah. Versus you just like, I hit the jackpot, because you're not going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's very rare you hit the jackpot.
It's very rare. Yeah. I've never hit it. I get home run, I get singles, doubles. I never get home runs, but you know, I don't mind steady and slow. What's the best deal that you've ever made, and what made it so successful? Give us your best deal.
I mean, they're best for different reasons, right? Because I enjoy just making deals. Right. So I remember one time, you know, I'm scouting, I'm looking for deals. Like I'm always in my mind, like just that next door, there's a house boarded up, so I want to find out about it later, right? So I'm just driving one day in the wintertime. I see this man coming out the house with a snake, older guy with a snake in a bucket. So I turn around, I said, hey, I know you look tired, brother. He said, yeah, I'm tired. I said, man, you should just get rid of this house. He said, you think so? I said, yeah, you should. I said, I'll buy it. I'm an investor. Just that when I started talking, I said, all right, take my number, right? This man sold me a three-family for $150,000. It's worth $800. Wow. Just because I saw him, I took the opportunity to stop, have a friendly conversation,
build that relationship,
evaluated what was going on, seeing how he looked, and related with him in that moment. And then what was good about it, because it's about energy and people liking you, right? Is that his attorney was like, no, don't do the deal at the table. Do not do this deal. I can get you more money. The man, his wife says, no. He reminds me when I was younger. I'm going to give him this house. I want him to do well.
So you're living in that house
regardless. Now? No. I sold it.
I know you did. You flipped it. You made it.
I sold it. But still,
you greedy capitalist. All the emotion was gone at the closing day. You greedy capitalist.
100%. But it's just the fact that I was able to identify with him, right? He gave me an amazing price on the property.
So back to your theory, he was a loser.
No, he wasn't.
You said there's winners and losers.
He was happy.
He was a loser.
No, he wasn't a loser. No, he was not a loser. Absolutely not. He understood the value of it, because even still, like when people lose, if somebody is being taken advantage of, and then you tell them before something happens, then it changes the dynamics of the deal. His attorney was still warning him at the table, you can get more money. He was at peace. That's not a loss. So it's not always money. It could be the emotional part of it as well. And then a lot of times,
he was giving back to the universe.
Yeah,
you were that person.
And he was letting go. He was letting go. He was letting go.
I agree with you. I'm just playing. You were just a pawn in the whole thing, and his give back, and he probably had somebody that gave him a break, and he was like, "This is my opportunity to be right."
And only caveat was because his kids were miserable. They lived in the house. He said, I'm not telling them. You tell them that I sold the building, and you get them out.
You did?
Yes, of course I got them out. That was the greatest capitalist. Yes, you got to go. We're going to get you out of here.
You know, it's funny that you say that. So I'm going to give an example of one of the best deals of my life when it didn't even finish out to being a deal, but I got a moment of it where I was very proud of myself. So, you know, I have a nonprofit, and the podcast and everything has come out of this nonprofit, Financially Clean. And out of the blue, the NBA Players Association reached out to me about creating a financial literacy program for their summer programs, for their summer youth programs for the kids. And
that's big.
Yeah, it was big. They invited me to Madison Avenue. I went into their big headquarters. I saw where their practice facilities. They gave me a tour, and I'm this guy that just started this nonprofit,
yes.
And I have the NBA wanting to work with me, you know. And then I put together a summer program for them, what the kids should be doing, how they should be doing, and I related it all around basketball. So I use players, I use like NBA themes to drive financial literacy, and I had multiple meetings. They loved it. They assigned one guy to work with me. Then they went ghost on me. And then like this is like March, you know, and I'm just patiently waiting for them to get back to me, and the summer's gonna start. And then as God knows it, in July, I'm part of this group email out of the blue where they're talking about their upcoming summer programs. And my program was in it.
Oh, man.
They literally took my program and implemented it for their summer program. It hurt, but it let me know that I have value and I have worth. You know what I mean? And I was able to negotiate myself all the way to Madison Avenue to the NBA Players Association and put together something that they leveraged and used for themselves. So, and that to me gave me the confidence of like, okay, I'm doing something right here, and I have the attention of like
that. And also it lets you know that, I remember this guy I met before my nonprofit journey. He says that, you know, you have the big fish, little fish, you have the minnows, you have the sharks, you have the whales, right? So you think that you might be a big fish, but then you come across a shark, they're just gonna eat you up.
Yeah, the shark.
So you were in that space where you wanted the glory of making it happen, but you didn't understand that you were.
I gave him too many cards.
Yeah,
I put together a whole plan for him.
Yes, you were deeper waters than you were supposed to be in. You weren't ready for it.
You see why he's my man? You see how I was that exactly? I was in deep water. I was amongst the sharks. The sharks were just like, let me just take this whole thing, and that's what they did. Exactly.
Treat you like food.
They eat you like food.
It happens.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into I'm gonna ask you one of the deals that you regret, and I can tell you a deal that I regret doing, and I'll start it. I had a multifamily building, and at this point I was just flipping buildings, and I decided to sell it. So I met a gentleman that wanted to buy it, and he didn't have all the money together, but I was giving him time to get it together, and so it worked out over the time that he decided he'll manage a building for me. I pay him. He pays me X amount every month, a fixed amount. And my mind was already off that building. I was already on to other bigger and better things. All right, you take me out of the part of being a landlord. I'm still going to make the profit I was going to make anyhow. And he just wasn't getting his money together. And then the contract had an expiration date of February 1st, 2014. So come January, I was like, by that time now the building is appreciated. It's kind of doubled in value. I'm like, I don't want to sell this guy this building anymore. I just want to take back my building. The contract expired. He would not let me get out of the contract. He took me to court. I spent 7 years in court. I spent over 6 figures in attorney fees fighting an expired contract. And it taught me, the regret about it is, like, I exposed myself too much to him. You know, I should have like kept it very cut and dry. And then the lawyer I had at the time didn't read enough of the detail, didn't protect me enough, that exposed me. So that's my regrettable story. I mean, I've actually won the case, but winning is a subjective thing, because I still, even though I won it, all the jury found him guilty, me innocent, I still had to wind up still paying him. And it's, you know, that's another story in itself.
We're real estate guys, so in my early career, and this is where we talk about being in deep waters. Brooklyn's one of the deepest waters you can get into. I mean, there are whales, there's sharks, there's nothing else that survives in Brooklyn, right? So my attorney, talking about attorneys protecting you, calls me, Russ, I got a deal on green, burnt brownstone, $150,000. So I'm excited. I'm gonna buy it. I'm in contract. I'm walking around. I'm like, I'm about to be rich. This is amazing. All that $150,000, right? I'm showing it to people. Like, I'm gonna flip the contract. I'm gonna make some money. It could be the most money I'm gonna make in my life because I was doing a business. Her grandfather owned the firm, right? Found out that she sold me this property, put me in contract with her for $150,000. He said, you know what? Called one of his people, took another contract on it. The attorney. Okay? My attorney's boss put his people in contract for the same property, bro. Same property. I was in court spending, and I lost. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the wherewithal in that space, right? They gave me $60,000. I was gonna say, go about your business, little boy. Yeah. And it showed me that there's ways, because I didn't understand how to really truly lock up a contract and make sure that because once you're dealing with real money, you have people who have the sharks. They're on a whole nother level. They understand the business so much better. And I was just a minnow thinking it was gonna happen, and they taught me the biggest lesson.
Yeah, I have an engineer friend. He's still my friend to this day. He used to come look at properties, and he still does. We looked at a property in Brooklyn. He was like, the floors are shaking. This is not a good building to buy. He wound up buying that building. He turned me off. And you can't take it personal. Like you said, he was the bigger shot. It's hard. Yeah. Like I knew it was a very shiesty thing that he did. Made me feel like this building is crap. And then he wound up. And there are no friends in business.
Let's go cut his tires tomorrow.
Let's talk about some takeaways. What should people do before entering a deal?
You have to do your research. You have to understand your market. You have to understand, if you don't understand your new, you have to find people around you that can help you understand the market and what you need to do, right?
Exactly.
Because if you don't, that's why I tell anybody who's getting into business is like college. It's just, even if you don't go to college, you're still going to learn on the street. Some way, shape, or form, you have to learn. You have to study. If it's going to be through your mistakes, right, which that's how I learned everything, or it's going to learn through having the right people around you to help you build you up.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I think a lot of this young generation, because they just have access to information so quickly, they feel that they don't have to do their homework. And I think the sharks out there can prey on people that didn't do their homework and take advantage of. And they're not going to let you know that we think you're an idiot. They're going to play into your psyche, make you feel like you know what you're doing, 100%. You're smart, you got it covered, and then you're going to get back-ended in a way that you didn't even see coming. Because you didn't do your homework.
Yeah.
And to me, if I do any deal that's sizable for me, I'm the first to make sure I throw it through my friends.
Yeah.
That I trust in their value. I'm not asking a broke person to tell me how to do a deal. I'm sorry. But you have to I'm going to ask people that I just feel like, they may not know what I'm talking about, but they know, they have a sense of understanding. Of business.
Yeah.
And I'm not just walking into anything without doing some kind of homework and understanding, especially if there's a lot of money at stake. We're doing a deal now. I ask, and I'm bold in my ass. I think you should be bold. I don't, please explain to me like I'm a child so I get it, because.
I had a conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
Just had it yesterday. But then even with, the education part of education, especially in business, is getting out and talking to people, because you have to know the nuances of people as well, right? You have to have a vibe for somebody in terms of how they're moving. Can you look in their face? Can you look in their eyes? Are they shifty? Right? How are they? Are they too chatty where they don't want to be quiet? Why are you talking so much? Because sometimes people just talk way too much, and you have to worry about, they're hiding something, right? So having that intuition. So, and then when it's just you're just on YouTube or you just research stuff, you don't get that feel for people. Right? So I think you need both.
So I'm looking at these young people in our production team. Shout out to Peter J, Nia, and Lauren. If we were to tell them they're 20-something-year-olds and 30-something-year-olds, what are the things they can do to be a better deal maker? What are some of the things you would start at and tell them how to become a good deal maker?
They have to be observant. Observe the people you're talking to. Something doesn't feel right, talk to somebody that you sounds like a parent. Talk to somebody you trust. But talk to one of your people, right? So you understand, I was having this conversation, but this bothered me. What do you think about that? And then if you have that insight, that depth, it's about having depth. It's even with a relationship. So if a young lady, she's dating a man, the man comes home, oh yeah, sorry, I my phone wasn't working. You look in his eyes, you're like, yeah, all right. It's the same thing with business, right? You just have to hone in on that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're just not putting it there. So once you start holding on those skills, then you have a better understanding. You're like, all right, this person's full of it. I already know.
Yeah, I think so. You're right. And it's trust your gut.
Yeah.
And always be willing to learn and understand, and be surround yourself with people that are into deal making and observe. Like, I think the young generation doesn't have the patience to just listen and observe. You know, I think they are without a doubt smarter than what we were back
100%.
then. But experience goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know, because I couldn't put any 20-year-old sitting down with me to have this kind of conversation, because our conversation is a lot based on experience.
Yes.
And you're only gonna get that with time.
Yes.
You know, and you're gonna get better. Like I always say, would you rather be this age with a healthy, wealthy mindset, or go back to be 20 years old and dumb again?
I'm gonna pick 20 and dumb. I'll get back there again.
Get back there again? Can you promise to get back there again?
Yes.
You want to be 20? You want to be 20 and dumb?
Dumb was a fun
with
time.
Nothing, no assets, nothing.
Listen, it was a fun time.
Yeah, you're right. 20 and
It
dumb.
was a fun time.
It is a fun
You're
time.
like, you have only a few summers left. I would take the more summers left than just do it.
20 and dumb. It's 20 and dumb it is. I can't even argue with you.
Yes,
we're
20
two black guys
dumb.
with good credit, and we want to be 20 and dumb again, and we're out. Peace.
Two black guys with good